And you explained to me.
I did.
What it means.
Exactly.
But first of all, let me thank you very much for having me here on your program. I know so many people who listen to it. And I'm grateful to you for the exposure.
I salute you.
And also to say a big hello to all your listeners. And I hope that they enjoy my presence here.
We're ready. And we're going to take it easy, you know. It's just going to be an enjoyable ride. Are you ready for it, Joe?
Oh, I'm ready.
You're sure ready?
I'm ready.
Social media has actually gone with the pictures of you and, you know, this great interview.
Oh,
How does
really?
that make you feel?
Oh my goodness, I'm surprised. So many people, especially social media, I think it's excellent because...
You received a lot of calls about this interview?
No, not really, not so far. Maybe past my age, maybe myself. But what do you call it? What I know is that it's a program for a medium for the
That's
young.
right.
And that it should be a problem. It's excellent for me that I'm somehow rather connecting with young people.
Isn't that sweet? And you're not only on StarrFM this evening, right in Accra, we're also live in Kumasi on our sister station, Ultimate 106.9 FM. So we're listening to you in Kumasi. We are in Koko on Aggo 96.9 FM. We're live in Takrady on Empire 102.7. You know, and we're streaming live on www.starrfmonline.com.
So wherever, please, thank you for listening to me.
Internationally, we're live on Osibisa FM in London, on NASFA, FMOnline.com, and also Abawa FM Online, all in the United Kingdom.
Did you say Abawa?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Fantastic.
I know the lady.
You know the lady? Okay. And also we're streaming live on GhanaWeb.com, so they get to see all the pictures and everything, events guide and AA photography, and we're live, you know, out there in the States as well. So hey, for people listen to us, go to www.starrfmonline.com and click on live studio and see live pictures, live feed.
Maximum exposure.
You're most welcome. But tell me, what have you been up to, Nana Akufo-Addo? I mean, yes, since 2012. Walk us through.
Well, as you know, most of 2013, I was in the court. I was in the Supreme Court prosecuting the election application that I brought to court against the Electoral Commission and the President. The end of which, when the court dismissed our petition, not just me, Dr. Bawumia, gave a bench evidence and myself. I went to England for about 6 months. I wanted to take a rest. I've been up and down in politics for years without having any proper holiday. So I went to England for about 6 months to commune with myself, to commune with my God, to my life, and find out which way we were going to go. And then came back at the end of the first quarter of last year, saying to myself that if at home people wanted me still to be engaged in the political arena, I felt I was ready to get back. So I came back and made the announcement that I was ready to give it another try. And after that, all the events that took place in 2014, the election of our party officials, then came the election of the candidate itself in August.
You've been quite busy, man.
Absolutely.
In all of this, Nana, walk us through the first day when you left the Supreme Court for the first time. Tell us, what was running through your mind? You came back, you had a press conference, you addressed party faithfuls. In your mind, what was it like?
Well, of course, obviously disappointment. You go to court thinking you're going to win, coming away into a very narrow majority, 5-4, that you have lost. That was a disappointment. But I felt that it was important that I should conduct myself well, because the country was, as it were, very, very tense, and any misstep on my part could bring about unnecessary problems for Ghana. Very interested in making democracy work in Ghana, not that it would stumble and get into problems. So I thought it was extremely important that as soon as possible I should try and make a contribution to bringing the tension down in the country. And letting people know that we should all go about our business as usual. I didn't think it was my duty to create a situation whereby there would be problems in Ghana because of my personal ambition. I didn't think that was right. So it was necessary to speak. So very soon after I came out of the court, I sat down in my study with 1 or 2 people. We brought about the speech. You know about what I said. Yes, I was disappointed. But I felt that it was important that I should accept the decision of the court and call upon the members of my party and their sympathizers to do the same and to say that it was now time for us to move on. I took the opportunity also to tell the country at the time that I didn't want to continue the judicial process. We had the opportunity of going for a review, and a decision as narrow as that would have been a deceptive matter of review quite easily. But I thought that the country had gone through this 8 months, 9 months of the court process, and that it was now time to.
What was that, a personal decision, or you were impressed upon to do that, not to go for the review?
No,
or
it was my own instinct, but at the same time, of course, the chairman of the party was around and was with me all the time. That's what I mean, was my own. So we discussed it, and this was the conclusion that we came to. That it was important to cut the body and now accept that the matter was over. The election of 2012 was now closed. We should bring closure to it. It was now closed. And then we should look forward to the future and call upon Ghanaians to do the same. That's how we came about.
You seem cool, composed, and coming to you, many have said that you're a man that will just say it as it is without fear or favor. But you've come across as arrogant and somebody who look down on people and despise them. How does that get to you, Nana Akufo-Addo?
Not too much. I understand a lot of that as being the workings of my political opponents. Because after all, image is everything. And if you can give a bad image to someone, it's the whole process of giving a bad name and hanging it. I know myself, and I knew that I didn't measure up to any of what I consider to be a caricature of myself. So I was not wired. I was wired in the sense that if it took hold of the imagination of people, of course, then it would be very counterproductive. But it didn't worry me in the sense of thinking, oh my God, people are saying no.
Does that get you worried sometimes, and you said, well, that's not who I am, or?
No, because I think that at the end of the day, the vast majority of Ghanaians have seen through that. They see that it was nothing more than propaganda, negative propaganda, but it was propaganda nevertheless. And that the instinctively, I believe they know that it's a caricature, it isn't the real me. So I continue. The only way you can answer
who is Akuffo-Addo?
That's another question. That's a difficult question. I don't know about people, but I'm one of those who find it difficult to talk about myself as to who I am. I'm more interested in talking about the things that I want to do for myself.
But as a personality, how would you grade yourself or assess yourself?
And by that, what do you mean? Is a good person, a bad person?
No, I mean character-wise. How do you see yourself? I mean, are you open?
Very affable, very open, quite a generous person. I'm very interested in the human intercourse, the dialogue. I'm quite a gregarious person. I like a lot of people around me.
Really?
All the time, yes.
You through good parties? You have friends around it?
Yeah.
Really?
That's now that maturity.
Growing up, how was it like? I mean, a party for Nana Akufo-Addo. You used to get friends around and.
Oh, lots. Yeah, first of all, my house growing up was a place full of people because my father was involved in Ghanaian politics right at the center. He was one of those who brought about the nationalist movement, one of the big six, etc. So you can imagine our house was always full of people upside down. I remember thinking to myself as a young child that, I don't know, whatever it was that my father was doing was a good thing because it seemed to affect a lot of people. And that if I grew up and everything went okay, I would like to do whatever it was that he was doing because you saw that lots of people were affected. The house was constantly full of people coming in and out. And you just, as a little kid, you wonder to yourself, really, what's going on here? But whatever it was very exciting. My very first memories, concrete, hard memories. In fact, there were riots in 1948. It must have been what, four?
Yeah,
It was 4 at the time. And our crowd was really hot. I remember people streaming in and out, shouting, screaming, coming in. And my father and the leaders of the time also were there, but they were very calm. I suppose you have to be when you're at the center of it. And I said to myself, wow, this is very exciting. I don't know what it's all about, but it's very exciting. And somehow or other, that has been something that has buoyed me up and lifted me up all my life.
And Nkrumah lived in your home sometimes?
I spent a lot of time there.
Really? So why are you not an Nkrumahist? That's a question I really want to
There was a brief period when I was attracted by his ideas.
You met up with him and you engaged?
Yes.
As a little boy?
As a little boy, yes. I don't know about engaging, but I certainly met with him. No, at the end of the day, I share different ideas, and I think that's okay. I think it would be a pity if you had a kind of everybody felt the same, and went one way. And it is very important that we should have a country where there's as diverse amount of thinking about public affairs as possible, because it is in the intercourse between all these various views that probably will get the best from the country. So it's important. Human beings are not robots. The good Lord made each one of us different, and it's important that we recognize that and do something with it, but do something with it positively, so that the differences can come together and form a really good, solid goal for the society.
It leads me to talk about growing up. You were born right there in Nima?
Yeah, then I was born in Swalaba.
In Swalaba.
In Swalaba.
Walk us through Swalaba and growing up, and we'll talk about your educational background as well.
Swalaba, then from there I went to live in Kolwoko.
Okay.
That's where my family lived in those days. As I said to you, I was very gregarious. I lived a lot on the streets.
Very social being,
Yeah,
right?
I lived a lot on the streets. This whole gutter to gutter and all of that.
You've done that?
It's very much part of my life as a kid. Very rebellious young boy.
Very stubborn?
Yeah, and it meant that our house too was very tempestuous, because my father was determined to give me some discipline. And he was an old-fashioned, old Presbyterian type. He believed also spare the rod and spoil the child. So there's several occasions when I had some good little taps on my bottom to put
Really?
to line.
Like what? You were whipped or you were smacked?
In a way that in those days, parents sometimes would just, bend down and give
Is this something that you subscribe to? Is this something that
I
you
didn't do for my own children. No,
You didn't?
I didn't. I think that by the time we grew up, all of us recognized that perhaps wasn't the way to go. It didn't do too much for me, because I still remained very sort of obstinate and rebellious. So that's what I remember. But I remember also enjoying very much my childhood. As I say, first of all, because the house was always very exciting, different kinds of people coming in and out.
How many siblings?
We are 4 altogether. Myself, 2 girls, and another. So we're 4. I have 4 children. More or less close together. The sister after me is 15 months younger.
Okay.
And then we have another one who's 3 years younger than me. And then one who's 7 years younger. So we more or less all grew up together. And it made for fun. I enjoyed it. Our father was a very interesting man. He was involved in big things, but he always had time for us. And both he and my mother have traits that I come to relate today. I still treasure very much. They
And
never,
what traits are we talking about?
we're talking about treating you as an adult, even when you were very little, talking to you, not